today, and it's a special story because it's kind of ties into Rizzo and Ivy's names. So it's called Murphy's Ticket, the goofy start and glorious end of the Chicago Cubs' Billy Goat curse. Maybe some of you are Cubs fans yourself and you have heard of this curse before. That was broken in 2016. Murphy's Ticket. Like the famous ivy in Wrigley Field that clings to the outfield wall, a legend has grown throughout the years about the curse of Chicago baseball. It tells of a goat who lived long ago and the fans of a lovable team who never lost their loyalty or their faith in a World Series dream. The story began with a bump in the road and that goat in the back of a truck. Who would believe that this was the start of Chicago Cubs baseball bad luck? As the baby goat stood on his spindly legs over the bump, the truck rumbled. The goat lost his footing, flew head over heels, and right out the back, he then tumbled. So the curious fellow wandered the city, staring up at all the skyscrapers. He kicked some stray cans, chased them around, and nibbled on daily newspapers. At that time, a fellow named Billy owned a Chicago saloon. Rizzo, are you coming to say hello? To say hi to everybody? She'll come back in a little bit. At that time, a fellow named Billy owned a Chicago saloon. He needed more customers. Business was slow. He tried everything under the moon. What else can I do? Billy wondered, keeping busy by sweeping the floor. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room, and a little goat skipped through the door. Billy looked down at his furry young guest, and he knew the moment they met that their paths had crossed for a reason. He hugged this lost goat, a new pet. I'll call you Murphy, Billy announced. You'll have a new home here. Why not? And soon it was rare to see Billy without his long-eared, four-legged mascot. His customers soon loved Murphy too, and Billy's scientist took note. He shaved his beard into a goatee and said, "Just call me Billy Goat." That's how the Billy Goat Tavern was born, but how did it rise to great fame? Well, Billy Goat purchased 2 tickets to a fateful World Series game. It was October 6, 1945, and even on that long ago date, the Cubs hadn't won a championship since way back in 1908. Yet, the loyal fans packed Wrigley Field for a World Series played in the sun. The outlook was brilliant for the home team. They led Detroit 2-1. And who came to root for the Cubs that fine day? Billy Goat and his faithful sidekick. 1 ticket for him and 1 for his pal, although Murphy just gave it a lick. As Billy marched right into Wrigley, Murphy trotted close behind. The pair paraded around the field, and at first, no one seemed to mind. The spectators cheered this strange new Cubs fan. Murphy bucked and galloped with pride. And that outfield grass, it looked delicious. The little goat's eyes opened wide. When the game was about to begin, Billy said, "It's time to get seated. Come on, Murphy. It's the World Series." That was all the goat believed. A man was supposed to seat them, but instead he just blocked their path. "No chance," he said. "That goat really stinks." It was true. Murphy needed a bath. "Billy Goat, you can stay," said the man. "But Murphy, well, he has to go." Billy stood quietly, let out a sigh, and then whispered a single word. No. Sure, Billy loved the Cubbies, but he loved Murphy most of all. Nothing meant more to him than his dear pet, not even World Series baseball. Maybe the sky grew suddenly dark, clouds blew in on that sunny day. Maybe time stopped, just for a moment. Now, what would Billy Goat say? Billy peered toward the big wooden scoreboard. His cheeks and his eyes became red. Then, Cubs, they ain't gonna win no more, are the fateful words Billy Goat said. He stomped straight out of the ballpark, muttering, "Those Cubbies, they're done." And so began years of Cubs misery. Billy Goat's curse had begun. The Cubbies lost that ball game, and they dropped the next one as well. In fact, when they lost the World Series, Billy Goat asked, "Now who smells?" "Wait till next year," Cubs fans declared, and they really believed every word. But once the next season was over, the Cubbies found themselves in third. The following year, the Cubs came in sixth. Their fortunes had fallen so fast. The year after that, they lost 90 games. The Cubbies finished in last. As the years passed, the spirit of Murphy seemed to visit the Cubs now and then. Whenever it seemed that the team would come close, the curse would pop up again. He was there when a black cat ran onto the field, surely an unlucky sign, and the Cubs suddenly dropped from first place in the late summer 1969. When a ball rolled through the first baseman's leg in the playoffs 1984, and the Cubs missed out on the World Series again, had Murphy been watching the score? In 2003, in the playoffs again, history was in the making. Cubs fans believed it might be the year. The stadium seemed to be shaking. With just one more win, they'd reach the World Series. Chicago led in the 8th inning. A pop-up was hit. The crowd held its breath. The Cubs were just 5 outs from winning. But some fans got in the way that day. The left fielder couldn't catch the foul ball. 8 runs scored. Murphy could not be ignored after this. The closest near miss of all. Boys, I apologize. The calves are being kind of shy. I'm going to show you some of them after we get done with this story. Okay, I'll show you where they're hiding. Every time the Cubbies fell short, breaking each loyal fan's heart, lots of them wondered, is Murphy still here? Is that ghost still playing a part? The Cubs, those lovable losers, tried so many ways to reverse that strangeness that made them suffer so long, known simply as Billy Goat's curse. They sprayed holy water, blew up that foul ball, and brought goats to opening day. Yet always, the Cubs just found new ways to lose. Murphy would not go away. But 2016, it felt different. The Cubs were baseball's best team. After so many frustrating seasons, Chicago fans still dared to dream. Go count a baseball's red stitches. You'll find 108. The same number of years since the Cubbies were champions. Hey, hey, holy cow, was it fate? And then on a crisp autumn night, at the field on Chicago's north side, the Cubs finally won the National League. A whole city swelled with great pride. Could they really win the World Series? Cleveland's team would be their foe. Down 3-1, the Cubs needed to win each of the 3 games to go. The Cubs won Game 5 and then Game 6 too, and one final night would decide it. With 4 outs to go, Chicago was winning, but wouldn't you know, Cleveland tied it. Cubs fans all over the country thought back to the curse and their pain, and that's when the clouds began moving. That's right, it started to rain. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. You can't see it, but the calves in the next pen over are trying to get in on this story. I will show you what they were doing when we're all done. But they're peeking their heads through. And this here, right here, is Rizzo playing with them. Was it the cheers from so many years? From so many Cubs fans in the sky who had never been able to witness a World Series W live. But then the rain suddenly stopped. After midnight, the Cubs grabbed their bats. And in the 10th inning, the Cubs won the game. No more curse, no foul balls, no black cats. Fans in Chicago poured into the streets. The Cubs were the kings of baseball. And it could be, that somewhere Murphy cheered loudest of all. These are some fun little facts. Do you believe in Billy Goat's curse? If not, consider this. In 1969, the Cubs were in first place for 155 days, but they lost 17 out of their last 25 games and finished in second place behind New York's Miracle Mets. The general manager and the announcer for the Mets had the same last name, Murphy. In 1984, the Cubs reached the playoffs for the first time in 39 years. They won their first 2 games against the San Diego Padres, but they lost the last 3 at San Diego's ballpark, Jack Murphy Stadium. In 2015, the Cubs made it to the National League Championship Series, but the Mets beat them thanks to a batting hero who slugged 4 home runs. His name, Daniel Murphy. When the Cubs beat the LA Dodgers to finally return to the World Series, the date was October 22nd, 2016. Exactly 46 years to the day after Billy Goat Cianis passed away. Girls and boys, thanks for joining in on our story time from the calf nursery. I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera so you can see Rizzo and Ivy and along with all their other friends in the calf nursery. I'll try to show you where the calves were peeking their heads out also. All right, girls and boys, here is where some of the calves were being shy. So I was reading here, and they were trying to stay off the camera here. Here's Rizzo. Rizzo, say hi. You're so cute. So Rizzo and Ivy are both 1 month old now. And they have graduated out of their individual pen. They are using what you see here. Maybe they were all just hungry. Oh my, yes they were. Look at this. This is our automatic calf feeder. These calves, this is how they get their bottles. You shall do it for us. So you see, girls and boys, they're wearing a necklace. She has a computer chip on her necklace. She walks by here, this right here, this black box that I'm tapping, it has a computer in it. And the computer can read who this calf is by her computer chip on her necklace. And it will determine whether or not she gets milk at that time. She can come up anytime she wants and have her bottle throughout the day, but it's not going to let her drink so much that she's gonna get a stomach ache. So she must be all done right now. This little calf And this little calf are Ivy and Rizzo's friends. Oh, she's gonna try to get some out. I don't think it's gonna give her any though. Not yet anyways. Let's see if it read who she is. Oh, there's green light. Can walk in on the other side. This calf is drinking. She's like, why are you videoing me? Let me see if I can show you what it looks like from the other side. So this is the automatic calf feeder that both of these calves are getting their milk from right now. So it's heating the milk back up to 101 degrees. That's how she likes it. We have all the information right here that tells us how much she's drinking, how many times she comes to the feeder, how fast she drinks her bottle. It keeps track of everything. Probably gonna fill up again here. See her little nose sticking through? There it goes. Show you a close up of her cute little nose. There she is. And you can see that's the nipple that she's sucking on. And this straw is where the milk comes out of. And the milk is in this bulk tank here. Show you. Stirring it all around. We must have just put new milk in there that's been pasteurized because normally that number is about 40-some degrees. We bring the milk over from the cows and we put it in here. This is a pasteurizer. It heats the milk up to 140 degrees. Right now, it is heating up and it's 104 degrees. All of this milk is. Then it gets stored into the bulk tank and stays nice and cool at 40-some degrees. And then it travels through this big hose here and you see it come out like you did. This is what I was talking about, girls and boys. These calves were being super funny when I was reading the story. There was like 3 of them poking their heads out from this little flap. So this, where they are, these calves that are poking their heads in and being curious and wanting to done story time are older than Rizzo and Ivy in this calf nursery. And here is Ivy. Hi, Ivy. Ivy is a little younger than Rizzo, so Ivy just graduated over to this